and that is going to be math.random, like that, which will generate a random decimal between 0 and 1. To make it a random number within our range, I'm going to multiply that random decimal by range. Then I'm going to round that. So math.round. Then I'm going to add the lower value, the a, back to that. Then return. In our sound over, because each function calls that eventually, I'm just going to make a little loop here, a little for loop. A for loop will do something for a certain number of times. It looks a little bit strange the first time you see it. For I is equal to 0. Make a variable. I'm just using I. It's kind of a standard thing to do. So I is equal to 0. And then what you're saying, while the I is less than 100, do something. But every time you do, make the I go up by 1. I plus plus. This is saying when I is between 0 and 100, do this thing. But every time you do, make the I go up by 1 each time. What I'm going to have it do is pick a random number. Make var my num is equal to my random number between, let's say, 20 and 60. And then I'm going to have it spit out that number. Console log text my num plus the value my num. If we run that, what it should do is when the sound over is called, it should go and generate 100 random numbers between 20 and 60. What we're looking for, does it give us a 19? Does it give us a 20? Does it give us a 60? Does it give us a 61? We don't want a 19, we want a 20. We want a 60, but we don't want a 61. We want anything in between there. Let us save that and quickly run that. If I run it and I click on, oh, I need to have my JavaScript console open, and there's all the my numbers, okay? So it generated all of these different numbers, 25, 32, 22, and so on. I'm looking for, do I have a 20 anywhere in here? Yeah, I have a 20 right there. Do I have a 19 in there? I haven't seen one yet. Do I have a 60? I haven't seen any 60s. I can tell it to search for one. So 60, whoops, 60. And it says it didn't find any. Let me run it again, see if that happens. And here we go again. There's a 60 right there. So the 60 did come up, I'm only generating 100 numbers, and there's another 60. We have a 19 in here, or a 61, okay? We have no 61s, and here, let me just go into the code for a second, just to make sure. Instead of running it 100 times, I'm gonna run it 1,000 times. Like that. Run it. Then it runs it 1,000 times, okay? And if I look for the number 61, it's not there, but if I look for 60, it's found 12 of them. If I look for 20, it's found 6 of them. If I look for 19, it has found none of them. So it is working, it's generating numbers between 20 and 60. So that's what I was after. So it's gonna wait for that amount of time. I'm gonna be using something called a timeout to do that. I'm going to pick a random number. I'm gonna call this wait number, or wait time. Wait time. The wait time is a random number between 10 and 20. Then I'm going to set a timeout. Then I'm going to have it go to pick a random sound. I'm going to make a function called pick rand button. It is going to wait for wait time times 1,000. I need to make a function called pick a random button. Down here, I'm going to write function pick a random button. I'm going to pick a random number again. I'm going to say button number, or rand button, is a random number between 1 and 5, 10 buttons, 1 and 10. For now, console log that, what a rand button is, just to see if it works. Rand button, save that, let's see if it works. We run that, and I click on, we're in sound over. After a certain amount of time, within 10 seconds, it should send us to the rand button thing. Rand button, it just went off. It didn't tell us what the rand button was though. I didn't tell it to tell us what the rand button was. I just said rand button. I'm gonna tell it to console log how long we're waiting for. I'm just gonna put in the wait time. Let's try that again. We're in sound over, we will wait 18 seconds. And when 18 seconds is over, it's gonna pick a random button. 18 seconds should be over around now. And there it is, and it picked a random button. 3. Want to put some if code in. If it picked 3, it's going to go to our third button and play it. If rand button is equal to 1, I am going to go to the pickle function. Else, if I don't use an else, and I just use a whole bunch of ifs. If button is equal to 1, go to pickle. If button is equal to 2, go to stupid, and then there's idiot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,